Good afternoon, Kolkata, Eastern India Regional Council, and my dear friends. No good afternoon from your side? Not enough. Chartered accountants whom I know, you're very, very powerful. I was sitting next to a chartered accountant who was very, very powerful. He was talking, once again, shall I have a bigger good afternoon? My God, somebody was very good there. He decided that this fellow should not ask me a second time. Well, I'm very happy to be here, to be of, like say, some sort, like to talk about your theme itself. Your theme is marching ahead, empowering profession. And I was supposed to talk on professionalism or whatever, smart work or the secrets of success, whatever it is, all put together. I would like to spend the next 55 minutes with you so that, we will be able to, find out. It is not that you don't know. All of us know. The only thing is I would like to, just go ahead and just peek into your, the resources which you have. Because I had been sitting here from the morning and I had been listening to your people who had come here and who were speaking with so much of confidence. Who were speaking a lot of things, and then, I was wondering, how do they remember all this? If they can memorize so many things, and then if they can speak off the cuff so many of those cases. Mr. Firoz and Mr. Padamchand in the morning, if I am not mistaken with the name, both these people were wonderful. I heard them, speak. But the point which I would like to drive at is that, you are a very powerful lot, and you have this sort of a feeling of, that sort of, professionalism, that professionalism should go on. Otherwise, why should we put that particular theme, that is empowering professionalism, empowering profession? And professionalism is the topic I thought should be the right one as far as today is concerned. I am here only because of a couple of people. Well, Ranjit was the first one, Ranjit Kumar Agarwal, who called me and told me that Bala, you should come here. And then, of course, Pramod Rungta called me and told me that, and he wrote to me and told me that I should be here. I'm very happy to be this side of the country, and I bring greetings from God's own country. And I should go ahead and mention to you that this is a very powerful occasion as far as I am concerned. Well, when we talk about, the professionalism part, I would like to, mention just one part of professionalism, and that is the ever-changing aspect of a human being. Our body changes, but then very seldom what happens is we stop to change as far as our profession is concerned. That's where I've seen a lot of change as far as chartered accountants are concerned. In fact, I think some years back, when you had known that MBAs are coming out with much more presentation skills and all, you brought out a scheme where you will have to go ahead with a 90 days, I don't know how many days, scheme of, communication skills and all the other presentation skills program, where I had gone for quite a few of those programs to your fresh chartered accountants who had come out. Now, this is the aspect of, the first aspect I would like to touch upon, and that's actually the change aspect. The world is changing. And the world is shrinking. But are we expanding to meet the shrinking? Not in physical terms, of course, but as far as the mental terms are concerned, are we changing? That's the question. Physical terms is very easy. I do that very often. But the mental part of it is very, very powerful. Change brings in a lot of sorrows. Change brings in a lot of joy as well. Now, change is constant. Nothing else is constant, as everybody says. But let me tell you, the best part about change is that change does happen to people if they accept change as a part of growing. Now, change is that particular link between yesterday and tomorrow, and we are in the present. I would like you to sit there and do one particular activity which I ask you to do it. And I would like to, link it with whatever I am talking right now. I'll ask you to clap. Is it all right? I'll ask you to clap together. Not now. I'll just tell you how to clap. When I say one, clap once. When I say two, clap twice. When I say three, clap 3 times. When I say 4, clap 4 times. Is it all right? We'll go up and down once together. Huh? Shall we? 1. That was not together. Shall we try once again? 1. Very good, yeah. 2, 3, 4, Beautiful. 4, 3, 2, 1. Fantastic. Very easy, no? I'll change it now. I talked about change, no? When I say 1, clap twice. When I say 2, clap once. When I say 3, don't clap. When I say 4, clap 3 times. Shall we go ahead? Once again, 1 means, 2 means, 3 means, 4 means, 3. We'll go up and come down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 3, 2, 1. Some people went on clapping, come what? I am not blaming them. Believe me, just because Bala says so, it won't happen. Just over seconds I told you, 1 is 2, 2 is 1, 3 is nil and 4 is 3. It won't happen. But did you see what happened? The minute I asked you for a change, everyone started smiling, and some of them very uneasy smiles. But that's not the point which I tell. Did you see the face? I was looking at those people, some of us, who clapped that extra. Did you see his face or her face? It was fantastic, huh? That extra, and he said, oh my God. You know, like they felt pretty bad about it, because you know that sudden change, they couldn't put up with that. But that's one thing. But did you see how the others looked at them and smiled and laughed? They looked at them and said, what is this here? I have seen even people who had clapped extra looking at the other fellow saying, why did you do that? Change brings in a lot of, like resistance. And change is the only theme that is going to take us from wherever we are to wherever we have to reach. And for that, there are these 9 C's which I thought that I should tell you, and that would be the essence of my talk. First is, of course, confidence. I would like to talk about confidence because that is the most important issue where your profession will look at you, your clients will look at you. I talked about the speakers over here who were so confident when they came in because they knew the stuff. They had knowledge. They had very powerful knowledge, and they were looking at it with a positive approach, and then they wanted to tell you that yes, I know and I would like to convey it to you. Confidence comes through knowledge. This is one aspect, and knowledge will come in due course of time, but then knowledge. The second one is the experience, but confidence comes through a third part which is very important. Experience also gives you a lot of knowledge. I understand, like say Mr. Firoz who was speaking to us, the second speaker who was speaking to us, he is a senior counsel. He is such an experienced advocate, he will have confidence with him. But that's not all. Confidence comes through many other reasons. And one reason which I thought that I should be talking about is actually, if confidence has to come, we should have our own capability of standing upon our own feet and telling that, yes, I do believe that I am good. We all talk about positivism, but then I am talking about much ahead of whatever, like say I wanted to talk. Whatever positivism means. I am talking about something like people should be that sort of people who can really face others with a positive smile on their face. I see these days, because of problems, people don't smile. You will see people walking on the streets, none of them smile. Huh? I have seen some of you smiling in the morning, and all you people were quite, like say at it. And then when I was outside, I was even thinking of Ranjit. I should tell you about Ranjit's smile. Ranjit has a very hearty laugh. Huh? The EIRC member there, that's a laugh which you heard just now, that's Ranjit's laugh. He has a very hearty laugh. When somebody hears it, it's very powerful. But then others are there who can really smile their way through so many things. People smile and get things done. Haven't you seen such people? Maybe you yourself will be one such person, or you must have seen. I have seen one guy. He's a student of mine. That guy went to an interview. He was asked around 25 questions on automobile engineering when he was a BA in economics and an MBA in marketing. Leave alone automobile engineering, he didn't know head and tail of engineering. And that fellow was asked these 25 questions, and for each question, he looked at the interview board and said, I'm sorry, sir, I don't know, with a smile on his face. First question is all right, huh? Imagine the 25th question. Even for that, he smiled and said, I'm sorry, I don't know. Came out and rang me up and told, sir, my job is lost. I have correctly answered the questions. I asked him, what was the answer? He said, I'm sorry, sir, I don't know. He's that type of a guy. from Chennai, one Srinivasan. 1 month later, he got the appointment letter. I went and asked him, how did you get the appointment letter? He said, I don't know, sir. He went and joined. He was in Ludhiana and he was taking the training. One day his senior came who interviewed him. He came and looked at him and he said, come here, Srini. Srini went running up to him because he's his boss and he gave him the job. He asked him, how are you? How are you? This was in the 90s. How are your people at home? So I have written to them. I have sort of talked to them on STD. How's your profession? How's the food? I love Punjabi food, sir. Everything he had a positive answer. That's what. Smile brings in a lot of positivism. He had a positive answer. At the end, when he was about to leave, the boss was about to leave, he asked the boss, sir, if you don't mind, can I ask you a question? He said, please go ahead. So that day for the interview, you asked me around 25 questions. And for all the questions I answered, I am sorry, I don't know. How did you select me, sir? He said, precisely that is the reason. I remember even for the last question, you smiled and said, I am sorry, I don't know. Last question, huh? And he said, that's why I selected you and placed you in the customer complaint cell. You slap him, he will tell, thank you very much, sir. There are such people, I'm telling you. Positivism just bubbles in them. And that sort of confidence, only people, even without experience, even without knowledge, they can have that confidence. They'll stand in front of people and people will know that, my God, what a positive person. That brings you to the topic of positivism, or lately, I have heard about this something known as optimal thinking. Now, when you are in a dilemma, we always think about, like say negative feelings because our brain is programmed negatively. Come what may, first thing we will think about all the bad side effects. But then what I am telling you is, optimal thinking is thinking about something really good. Every time when you are asked a question also, you should immediately get that answer. And for that matter, I have this one experience when so I asked a friend of mine, he's a trainer, he came and I asked him, how are you, Shiva? His name is Shiva. So Shiva says, Bala, I'm feeling wonderful. He didn't tell I'm fine, he didn't tell I'm good, he didn't tell I'm great, but this guy said, Bala, I'm feeling wonderful. The way in which he said, I also felt wonderful. Suddenly I got some change in me. But there are some people who are just the opposite. Huh? You ask them, how are you? Immediately they will tell, Bala, yesterday I had a fever. Fever will come on to you. Suddenly it will come to you. Headache will come to you. My brother-in-law, he is not that negative most of the time, but that day he came to me and said, Bala, when I do this, it pains here. I told him, don't do it. He said, very good idea. And he went away. He got the idea. He went, turned the corner. I checked up to find out whether I have got it. He gave it to me and went. Believe me, this optimal thinking is very powerful and negative thinking is all the more powerful. But optimal thinking, whenever you get to think something, think most positively, something will happen out of that. Confidence comes out of that. Let me tell you, it drives you to something known as self-drive or self-motivation. Positive thinking, or like say this optimal thinking drives you to something which is known as self-motivation. You don't need to be motivated with confidence, knowledge or experience or whatever. They get motivated just because of that self-drive. I've seen people. One guy came to me after a speech of mine when I was going down. He came to me and said, Mr. Bala, fantastic. 18-year-old guy. Huh? Even my sons have not told me. Fantastic. I said, thank you very much. Then second one, I am motivated. I was in cloud 9. Somebody getting motivated just because of me. So I told, keep it up. He said, I have decided, Mr. Bala. I asked him, what have you decided? He said, in the sometime of tomorrow, I will be a speaker like you. He did this. In the sometime of tomorrow, I will be a speaker like you. I should have kept quiet after that. I wanted to hear more of this because people were listening. 500 odd people sitting there. So I thought that I will ask him one more question, and that was my Waterloo. I asked him, why have you decided? And he said, if you can become, I can also become. What a self-drive, I tell you. I'm telling you, my friends came and told me, you deserved it. Why did you have to ask that? But that's not the point. The way in which he said that, he didn't mean to insult me. But the point is that he was self-driven. Self-drive comes from this sort of an aspect that I am good. I have been sent by God for a very, very basic purpose, and that is to be happy in this world and go back happy. What a powerful thing it could be if you are confident, and you're confident just because of not all the peripherals, not because of all the accessories, not because of the existing stuff, but just because of you, you're confident. This is the first one I thought that I should tell you, because people might talk about self-belief, self-esteem, how to know, because we won't have time to know about ourselves unless and until we look into us. This boy was just there, 18-year-old, and he just told me that, Bala, I would be a speaker like you, because I feel so. Because if you can become, I can also become. It was a slap to me, however, but then the point is that I took the slap very graciously. Now the point which I would like to ask you is, how many of us have gone in and asked us, am I happy today? Please don't ask, am I happy today? Please to change the sentence to, I am happy today. Smile will come. I asked this Shiva, how do you make such statements here? When I ask you, how are you? You say, Bala, I'm feeling wonderful. The way in which he says, exactly like this, wonderful, and you also float with that. That's the beauty of it. So I asked him, how do you get this, Shiva? So he told me, Bala, one small exercise every morning you do. Jump out of your bed, go to the mirror, look into the mirror and say, good morning, Bala, have a good day. Good morning, Bala, you're good, have a good day. I told Shiva, I can't do it. He said, then you will be like this. First day I jumped out of the bed, went to the mirror, to my horror, I saw what was there. Hair standing on end. I have never seen me like that. I went back and slept. Second day, once again, somehow or other, got up, jumped up, went to the mirror, looked into the mirror and I said, good morning, Bala, you're good, have a good day. Believe me, I was feeling good, but from behind my wife asked me, what happened to you today? She thought becoming a trainer was this. She thought something has happened to his head. No, nothing like that. I felt my whole body was pumped up with energy. Believe me, ladies and gentlemen. My soul, the pain in the soul, usually I get it by evening, it went off. After I started saying this, every day, whenever I have a great day, I do this. Only once I had a problem. I went to Muscat, and from the staff to the managers, I was asked by the MD to pep them up, because they come there for money, they just go there, work and come back. They had no energy. So he said, Bala, they are like robots, just go and help them out, pep them up. So I went there and told this very same thing. I do this every day, do it and you will be a winner. Believe me, you have reasons to believe, because I am standing in front of you and I am much, much older than you and I am much more energetic than you. And I want you to be challenged, because I am telling you I am older than you. I just created a lot of challenge, left it and came. I went and packed myself up to return back to India, and the general manager of the company came and told me, Bala, you started it, now you stop it. I asked him, what? No, please come with me. I went to a dormitory, air-conditioned dormitory, very well kept, 8 beds. And there was one mirror. And there were one queue standing there mentioning this, So I told, oh my God, you are having latecomers in the factory? He said, no, I'll give them 8 mirrors, don't worry. I'll give them 8 mirrors for 8 people. But see what they are telling. Just listen to what they are telling. And you know what they were telling? Each one was going in front of the mirror and saying, good morning, Bala, you're good, have a good day. They thought that Bala was some mantra or something. I told them, please tell your name. Believe me, you tell your name every morning and you tell this, your entire, maybe there are people who are doing it. In this particular gathering, there would be people like this. You ask them, they'll tell you how powerful it is. Another one is just asking yourself, who am I? And what can I do to this world as far as I am concerned? And I am a professional and I would like to do something to this world. For that, we will have to start off on that self-image thing. How am I? Who am I? Where am I? What am I? All these questions will have to be asked. All of us must have heard about the SWOT analysis. But there the problem is, we don't continuously go ahead with this. Let me ask you this question. How many of you sitting here have blue inked pens with you? Please raise your hands. Blue inked. How many of you have black inked pens with you? How many of you are wearing spectacles? Please raise your hand. How many of you are wearing light colored shirts or tops? Light colored. How many of you are wearing dark colored shirts or tops? Very nice. How many of you have long noses? See what happened? Many of us are looking at the other person, or many of us are touching the nose and finding out. Some of us raised their hands, just a couple of them from there, they raised their hands immediately. I asked for long noses, not sharp noses. But see the change. Instead of all those colors, all those items where people were very fast in raising their hands, when I asked about an external appearance, long nose, immediately people resorted to looking, finding out whether the nose is long, looking at the other person, comparing with the other person, or for that matter, say, why unnecessarily go into this trouble of unnecessarily raising my hand, and Bala might ask me how long is it, and then we'll get into problems. But that is not the issue. We have this tendency of comparing ourselves with the other person, or am I that good? However good a person is, they would still look out to be a little bit better than today, or whatever it is. That's where I thought about the first aspect of C, and that is confidence. The second one is, of course, competence. And competence, look through one item which is actually an essential feature of an outstanding professional, and that is known as TQP, total quality person. Are you a total quality person as far as you're concerned, as far as your office is concerned, as far as the public is concerned, as far as the society is concerned? Anywhere, wherever you go, when you go and meet the higher-ups, when you go and meet the government officials, are you the total quality person? I was very much, appreciative of the fact that the previous speaker talked about being ethical. Now, competence is all about that sort of a total quality personhood. It does not require money. It does not require, he talked about it. It does not require literacy. It does not require anything under the sun. It all requires is that sort of a absolutely powerful bent of mind. To be competent, to be a total quality person in front of others. You have one example in the country as far as the group is concerned. They are not literate, they don't know English, they don't have computers, they don't have that much of salary. They are very, very poor compared to the so many others, but then still they are supposed to be the best quality people under the whole umbrella of India. Can you mention the group? Bombay Dabbawalas. The Dabbawalas of Bombay, or the tiffin walas of Bombay, are supposed to be the most qualitative people in the country, the group as such, as a whole. One particular group, one association, there are many other associations, that one particular group which is famous all over the country and now all over the world just because of their Six Sigma certification is the Bombay Dabbawalas of that association. And believe me, they are total quality people, not because they spend money. They took the certificate after spending money, nothing like that. They were given the certificate by the Japanese authorities by going there and handing it over to them because they couldn't apply because they didn't know English. But they showed to the world that our defect-free percentage is 0.000001. They don't have defects. They get the tiffin boxes at 10 o'clock in the morning from the houses. By 12 o'clock it reaches the offices. By 3 o'clock they get it back from the offices. By 5 o'clock they give it back to the residences. Not a single miss. One tiffin box changes hands 3 times. 3 different people take it to the final destination. No mistake. All because of the signals they mentioned. They are the best as far as total quality people are concerned. According to even Prince Charles, who came to India, he didn't want to meet anybody but these people. He had 5,000 of them who do 500,000 transactions every day. They do 2.5 lakhs that side, 2.5 lakhs this side, and they're defect free. They are totally defect free. They are supposed to be total quality people, and they are also the confident people whom I told, because I was told by people and I proved it. I went and checked up. I was told by people that they laugh, smile, sing, and push the trolleys, carry the platforms on their head, and really make their work play. They do that. I went to Churchgate Station and watched this particular association people coming out, white Gandhi caps, khadi clothes, white and white, neat and clean, but not expensive. They are not ironed, but they are very neat, and all of them smile, laugh, sing. Some of them, say pushing trolleys, they sing, and the others who are with them, they just keep on singing, they just keep on laughing. They are merry, they are very happy people. And that's the reason why Bombay Dabbawalas of that particular association is supposed to be total quality people. Today, the IITs and IIMs have classes by them. The president and the secretary goes and speaks to them on project management. They talk in Marathi and somebody translates it into English. That is quality for you. Competence. They give competence to people. They give that competence, that talent is totally given to them, and people have learned from them. People like, like say, Prince Charles, people like, like say, all these big people, they refer to, Dabbawalas. The third one is, of course, the congruence part. Whenever I am a professional, I should walk the talk. If I am telling that I will not do this, I will not do this. Nobody is there to check me. As far as a professional is concerned, he or she is the person who will check. And most of the time what happens is, we will have to see to it that we are congruent people. I learned this, I learned this word from that particular book. The book is actually of Stephen M.R. Covey, the son of Stephen Covey. His book was Speed of Trust. And the book says that trust builds a lot of, I'm coming to the next one, next quality C, which is on credibility. But the first one is, how do you keep this sort of a, like say, congruence? There is a story, and the story is not of anyone else in the world, it's of Mahatma Gandhi. He mentions in the book that Mahatma Gandhi went to House of Commons and spoke for maybe 45 minutes or 1 hour, and he spoke without a single small bit of paper. He just spoke his heart to the MPs of the House of Commons. Everyone was shocked to find him even not having a piece of paper. One opponent of Mahatma Gandhi, very staunch opponent of Mahatma Gandhi, walked down to Mahadev Ji Desai, who was the PA to Mahatma Ji, and asked him, how is this person speaking like that? I am carrying a whole bit of file just to refute him. And he is speaking not even with a paper. And Mahatma Ji's PA, Mahadev Desai, told that that's because of the fact that Mahatma Ji is congruent. He speaks what he preaches. He preaches what he practices. He practices what he preaches. So he doesn't have to. He doesn't have to keep a paper. Nothing is required. He keeps on looking at it. You don't have to look at it. You don't have to have a PowerPoint. Because he knows what he's talking. And that's why I think that saying goes, which says that honesty does not need a very good memory. Honest people can afford to have amnesia, because they are always telling honest things. So Mahatma Ji's congruence is the next I thought I should tell. And the next one is, of course, credibility. Congruence is C-O-N-G-R-U-E-N-C-E. C-O-N-G-R-U-E-N-C-E, congruence. It is there in the note inside the souvenir. The entire details are given, but even then, thank you for asking me. Now, congruence. And the next one is, of course, credibility. Trust building should be an everyday exercise, and I don't have to tell you about this. You are the best people. Clients come to you only because of trust. I have a chartered accountant who is my counsel. I go to him only because I can trust him. Believe me. I can trust him with all my heart, and I go to him only because of that. But then trust building is very, very powerful in a country where trust is being looked at as a very, very cheap phenomenon. Believe me, in Japan, if you lose trust, it's best that you don't do any job. You'll have to go home. I was there in Japan, and like say, a little bit on trust. Just see what happened. I was in a Train the Trainer program. I was a faculty member in English Train the Trainer program. There was this Japanese Train the Trainer program faculty member who was a youngster. He knew a little bit of English. I went and sat next to him. It was 8:45. 9 o'clock was the meeting meeting was about to start. We were to be told how to conduct the program. Meeting was to start at 9 o'clock. I was there at 8:45. I knew if I am not there on time, these people will lock the door. So I was there at 8:45. Even otherwise, I knew Japan, they are very, very specific on time. I went there 15 minutes before. So he looked at me and I asked me, are you from India? So I told yes. Then he says the next question, you won't believe it, then why are you on time? Can you believe it? That is the trust a Japanese has got in Indians as far as timekeeping is concerned. Now, how will we deal with such people when we go with a business proposition? They tell you, like say I was standing on a suburban railway station, there was this Japanese gentleman, young, old man. We were 3 youngsters those days, and he looked at me and he said, "Are you from India?" I said, "We are from India." "Which part?" "We are from South India, sir." He said, "I've also come to India." And he knows only 2 things about India. One is Mahatma Gandhi, second is Taj Mahal. He kept on talking about Taj Mahal and Mahatma Gandhi. At one point of time, he looks at his watch and says, "Today the train is late by 1 minute." So all 3 of us laughed. "That's okay, sir." That man shouted at us, "This is the problem with you Indians. You think it's 1 minute of your time? How many people are standing here?" I told around 3,000. "So how many minutes?" 3,000 minutes, sir. "How many hours?" 50 hours. I ran for my life. I'm telling you, that person was so much angry that we couldn't take care of this. That's how we spread this sort of lack of credibility all over the place. I think credibility has to come in as a very, very powerful thing. Next is, of course, I would mention this as a very powerful topic, and that is communication. Communication has come to stay. Whether it is connectivity, like say again, the previous speaker was talking about mobile phones. I don't know where the mobile phones are going to go. Believe me, yeah, that's a question. Have you ever heard of any advertisement in the paper which says this mobile phone can phone? No. Everything else other than phoning is mentioned in the advertisement. Mobile phones can do everything under the sun these days. Haven't you seen one advertisement where one child stops crying just because watching the mobile video? I saw this video. Not only that, I recently saw that you can find out the old songs, name of the movie, name of the singer, name of the picture, name of the music director, name of the picture director, name, everything under the sun from something known as the Shazam application. It's there. You can just show it to the speaker and that fellow will tell you, this is the movie, this is the year, this is the music director. Just imagine. It has dangerous propositions. Tomorrow, you can go and just show it at the face of another person and take it and say, "This is what you think about me." Believe me, it can happen. See where communication has come to. Communication has come to a place where you need not be there. You can communicate with people. You can communicate with people even if you are not there. But that's not the communication which I am talking about. I am talking about the personal communication part. Let me just ask you this question. How do I know that you are listening to me? Especially because of this sort of a lights and then like the entire thing I can't make out, but then still I can make out that you are listening to me. How do I know that I am listening to you? Yeah? Sometimes once in a while you clap, once in a while you smile, once in a while you look at me and nod. Because I have seen people, you can make out whether the entire audience is with you or not. Because many of us have the habit of showing the others I am listening. I saw in one of my training sessions in Ahmedabad Management Association, this guy was sitting there and looking at me and doing this. I thought, what a great listener here. So I kept on looking at him and taking the sessions. I moved to one side at one particular point. He was still looking there and doing this. Just imagine what an insult it could have been. Now the point is that communication has gone from writing, reading, speaking to non-verbal communication. That's where you should understand what is not being said. That's why I asked you that question, how do I know that you are listening to me? There is no other way. I can't keep on asking you and you can't keep on getting up and saying, "Bala, we are listening, go ahead." No, nobody says that. Nobody does it. But then the point is that the way in which you speak, the way in which you show others that yes, I am interested, that exactly goes to show that you are a very powerful speaker and you can present things very powerfully. Communication has come to such a point where only such people are powered to reach out to the other person and tell them whatever, or then communicate whatever, or convince people as to whatever they can do. This is one aspect. Another one is, of course, the cooperation part. I had always wondered, the best part about the ecstasy is that the team person you are determines whether you will be a person who is successful as far as a professional is concerned. Am I a team person in the office? Am I a team person in EIRC? Am I a team person wherever I go? Am I a team person in the family? Am I a team person anywhere I am? That is the question. Team personhood is another thing. Just like total quality personhood is another thing which can be taken as a very powerful C. And team personhood goes to say that whenever you contribute 1 plus 1, people have various answers. Can you tell me the answer why 1 plus 2, 1 plus 1 is equal to how much? 1 plus 1? 11. Now you are not being chartered accountants. See, suddenly you turned into 11. See, that's what 1 plus 1 is equal to 11. 1 plus 1 is equal to big 1. I heard from one student, believe me, one fantastic answer. He said 1111. I asked him how. He said, if you are a good team leader, 1 plus 1, these plus sign also becomes 2 ones, sir. So 1, 1, 1, 1. 1111. I asked him, how can you do it? He says, sir, a couple of months ago, those days, like whenever this happened, a couple of months ago, Srishant got slapped by Harbhajan Singh. It was a huge news in the newspapers. And Srishant was sobbing and walking around the whole cricket ground. All of us must have seen that show. But 2 months later, they played for the national team, and both of them were seen hugging each other. He said, isn't it like this, sir? They were at cross purposes, but when they joined the team, they became one. If I am a very good team person, if I, as a professional, if I am a very good team person, I will see to it that 1 plus 1 is equal to 1111. Which brings us to the next question, and that is actually a very powerful one. It is not enough that we change. It is not enough that we do everything what is required. We have to have that sort of a little bit of extra thinking or an overdose of creativity, which is known as lateral thinking. Believe me, the best example to be taken here are children. Children are the best. If you can look at children, they will give you excellent examples of creativity. And I have got ones, and I'll tell you before that, even at home, you will see that your children would be behaving in such a manner that they think out of the box much easily than all of us. We always tell, no, the next generation is much more brighter. It's because of this. The right brain thinking, the right brain capacity of a person is much higher these days because they have to think out of the box most of the time. As a chartered accountant, as a professional, I think we also have to think most of the time like that. Think out of the box, and that is think with the right brain most of the time. And if at all we don't get an answer, think laterally too. That's a very powerful thing. I remember a long time back, you must be knowing this answer. When I was reading a newspaper, my youngest son, when he was in the lower primary classes, he came to me and asked, Dad, can I ask you a question? Seemed very innocent, but I knew there was danger inside. That's why I told him, go and study. So he said, no. Just one question and I'll go. And my father told, after all a question, why don't you answer? So he had majority. So I just succumbed. And he asked this question, you will know the answer. He asked, how can you put an elephant in the refrigerator? I asked him, what a stupid question. He told me, if you know the answer, tell me, otherwise I'll tell you the answer. So I just looked around for some time, I had no answer. How can you put an elephant in the refrigerator? So I told him, okay, I failed, you tell me the answer. He said, open the door, put the elephant in, close the door. And he coolly left. And my father was smiling to himself because I think he also got it one day back. After some time, this fellow comes back, my son, and he says, can I ask you another question? I told him, go and study. I knew. So he says, if you know the last answer, this is very easy. So I thought I can salvage some of my lost prestige. I told him, go ahead. He asked me, how can you put a giraffe in the refrigerator? I said, very easy. Open the door, put the giraffe in, close the door. He said, no. Open the door, take the elephant out, put the giraffe in, close the door. Fantastic, I tell you. Fantastic, believe me. These guys are terrific, I'm telling you. And people who are coming out, these millennials, who are coming out, I think many of them are sitting here also. Some of the students I saw, they are very good. Just put them to a little treat of lateral thinking. You will get umpteen outstanding results from them. I have got this, that's why I'm telling you. I go to MBA institutes, I go to other institutions as well to just find out whether they are creative, and they come out with solutions. Formerly, I used to think that, like say people come to you with problems. I remember I used to go to my boss just to impress him. I used to tell boss, today we have a challenge. I never used to tell him a problem. But then second day, third day, it became a problem. So I went and told boss, today we have a problem. Fourth day, another problem. 30th day, another problem. And finally he told me, you are the greatest problem. Believe me. But today they don't. If you are clearly looking at these millennials, they will come and tell you, sir, today there is a problem, but this is the solution I can give you. Maybe it's a stupid solution, you can't accept it. But at least they have that sort of right brain thinking which they can give you. I'll tell you another example. I went to a 9th standard school, 9th standard students of a school, and I was asked to take a session on creativity. I knew I was in problem, but I couldn't say because people told he's an international trainer, so I said I'll go and take it. I landed in serious problem. I went there and told, do you want a lecture or you want to do something on the board? He said, yeah, go ahead on the board. We want only activities. So I asked the first and the last activity, as it happened to be. I gave them this activity. It was a black board with white chalks. I gave this activity of going to the board and drawing a straight line. I gave them only one condition. One straight line should not be like the other straight line. If one person draws like this, that's over. You should draw another straight line. So new straight lines will come. So one girl came and drew like this, another boy came and drew like that, one guy went and drew like this, one fellow drew across the board, one fellow drew horizontally, and one guy came and drew at one corner. That was the end. So I told them, just like a good trainer, I should motivate people. I told, this is not the end of straight lines. So one guy got up, looked at me, picked up a chalk piece, put it on the board and dragged it across to draw a shaded straight line. I told, fantastic, this is creativity. There started my problem. Another fellow got up, took 2 chalk pieces, put it on the board and drew 2 lines. I caught him there. I told him, I need only 1 line. He says, sir, it is 1 line. It is a black line with 2 white borders. I was stumped. I didn't want to lose. I told, anyone else? Another guy came and drew dash, 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 dash. I asked, what is this? He says, it's a white and a black and a white and a black line. Background is black, sir. 3 or 4 more guys and girls came. I stopped my creativity lesson. One girl came and drew like this. I told, that is not a straight line. She says, it was a straight line, sir, it broke. Just see where it went. But the last 3 took my breath away. One fellow came and put a full stop. I said, that's a full stop. He said, it shrunk from both the ends, sir. Another fellow came and put a full stop right below. I told, that's over. You can't do it again. Sir, it is like that, sir. The last guy came, put another full stop. I asked him, what is this? He said, it's from the other side, sir. I packed my bag and left because if I had been asked to write another line, straight line, I wouldn't be able to draw the straight line. Just see, where did it start from? It started from that sort of a shaded straight line, where that guy did something known as lateral thinking. Coming out of the box, trying for an answer where the problems were getting stuck on one aspect only, that is drawing like this. He tried another one and he got it. Lateral thinking can be a very powerful remedy to some of our problems today. And any problem, whether it is technical, whether it is professional like yours, or whether it is a sort of a problem as far as we are concerned, all of us will have the same sort of an attitude as far as this is concerned, that we should go ahead and prove to people that we have to show that we are good in lateral thinking. Trying out various means so that we get the right answer in due course of time. This was the next C, and the next a couple of things is of course, I already were the last one which I talked is of course, the last one I would like to talk to you is actually character. Character is as a multiplicity of all these things which had been talked here right from the morning, and character is what you do even when you know that nobody is watching you. Character happens to you when, even when you know that nobody is watching you, you do the right thing and you do the thing, that is your character. I remember Warren Buffett once said, I look for 3 things in people. Warren Buffett once said, I look for 3 things in people. And what are those 3 things? One, he said, it is integrity. First one is integrity, continued honesty. I would like everyone to be like that, otherwise we will have problems. Second one is high intelligence. People should be intelligent. They should know what to do and what not to do. And the third one is high energy levels. And he continued, if the first one is not there, the other two can be dangerous. If integrity is not there, high level of intelligence and high levels of energy can be very, 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 very dangerous as far as we are concerned. Where do we come to as far as this is concerned? As far as this is concerned, we have a very, very powerful thing, what is known as the 9 C's of excellence. But then where do we come to? We come to a stage where we have to be leaders and we have to be managers. We have to be leaders and we have to be managers together. Leadership and management, both are identical terms as far as the meaning goes. We have two different terms, but then the meaning goes differently. One is leadership is achieving results through people, almost the same, and management is of course getting things done through and with people. What is the essential difference? The only difference is actually leadership comes out of sheer followership. Comes out of sheer followership, and the followers gives us the authority. Whereas management, the top gives us the authority, or the rules give us the authority, the bureaucracy gives us the authority, or wherever, whatever it is, it gives us the authority. A combination of leadership and management is what we should be as far as a professional is concerned. Professionalism has got a lot to do with this character part of it, and that character part of it is actually brought up as far as we are concerned in our upbringing. I don't know how many of you have, like say, read this book, The Professional by Subrata Bakshi. Subrata Bakshi is he calls himself the chief gardener of Mindtree Solutions, a software company. Subrata Bakshi has written a couple of books. One is of course The Professional, and the second one is known as Go Kiss the World. He had told that whatever management I have learned is from my home. His mother and father had taught him management. He had given a convocation address at the Indian Institute of Management, Bangalore, and the first sentences were, I am not an MBA graduate. My management I learned from my mother and father. And who are his mother and father? Father was a junior level officer in the government department of Orissa, and his mother was a 10th standard pass homemaker. They gave him the essentials of management. That's the greatest lesson that India can provide. Like Google has its head, Microsoft has its head. Most of the companies have Indian heads, and they say that Indians are most equipped to become the CEOs of the world. And even studies indicated that Indians can be because of the upbringing. Because the upbringing of Indians. And what did Subrata Bakshi say about his management studies? He said only 3 words. They mentioned only 3 laws of, management. One is, leave your newspaper and the toilet the way you would like to find it again. It's about total quality personhood. Huh? Leave your newspaper and the toilet the way you would like to see it again. It's not about toilet and the newspaper. It's much about the character part of it. Wherever, whatever you do, there should be that sort of neatness, and there should be that sort of very powerful feeling that this person is of quality. Number 1. It's not about newspaper and toilet, just because of the fact that what he wanted to indicate, or what they wanted to indicate to him was, wherever possible, show that we are quality oriented people. We keep things in places, and we also do things on time, and we are professionally, as I said earlier, total quality people. What is the second one? He said, respect elders. This quality is only, I have seen it only in India, respecting elders. He said that the driver who comes, his father, the driver who comes to pick me up here every morning is not the name. You should not call him by name. He told him and the brothers and the sisters, he told he's either a chacha or a bhaiya. And I've seen it in so many houses in India. A driver comes in and he's not called by name. He's not called by the name driver. He's not called by the label which he has as a profession. They call him a bhaiya or a chacha, and it goes on without saying that India is a country which shows respect to elders. And he said second one is that. And the third one is the most important. Both these people who have not seen the world, they told this word, and this word became a book. The title of his next book, which said, "Go Kiss the World." They told him, "Go kiss the world," meaning, why are you coming and wasting your time in our country? Why are you coming and wasting your time in our house? You have come here, you have seen us, now go kiss the world. Go bring the world back to your office in India so that people come to know what the world is doing. Just see the visionary part of those people. Just see the visionary attitude of those people. And he said, they are my management lecturers. As far as my entire management is concerned, I learned from them. These three things go to show that a leader manager evolves out of not the textbooks of management. A leader manager evolves not because of the fact that you take an MBA and then you come out and you are a manager. It brings out the essence of that character, which is absolutely important. Like I always say, happy people. I understand that Bhutan is a, like the entire, thing revolves around happiness, and that's what they say. Happy people bring in a lot of wealth to the country. You will see more and more people are happy in India, but then the point is that we should bring happiness to the country. I always tell, whenever I go out of the country, I tell them, whenever you are outside the country, please speak good about our country. Our Prime Minister recently went, and for whatever reasons, wherever he went, he brought lots of crowds to his speeches, and where he mentioned about the strength of India. Now, what I'm telling you is the same thing when we speak, or when we speak one-to-one. I have seen so many people in small groups speaking good about our country, but also, to my dismay, I have seen some of them speaking ill about our country. In India it is like this, in India it is like that, because they want to show that, outside the country everything is rosy. But believe me, ladies and gentlemen, I have come to know this, and you must have also come to know this, whoever has traveled out of the country. I am a first-class citizen only when I am standing on the ground of India, on the soil of India. Nowhere else. Let it be US, let it be UAE, let it be Germany, let it be Japan, any country under the sun. I am not, say putting them down. They are first-class citizens there, of their citizens, are the first-class citizens. But as far as we are concerned, we will get no respect. This sort of respect we will not get anywhere else. And that's the reason why I'm telling that wherever we are, show the world that we are good. Whenever we are going out, we should show the world that we are the best. And for that, we have to make a start here. We have to become professionals. And professionals should be happy people. The definition of professionals, I kept it for the last. And it says, a professional is one who knows his theater. His theater is the audience. His theater are the people. And I kept it for the last because of the fact that it is just because of this that people would regard you as a professional. And professionals should be happy people. Happy people are all over India. Though we don't smile, happy people are all over India, because I have seen. Well, I will close with this quotation of mine, which is my favorite quotation, which I call it as a t-shirt quote. This quotation, before the quotation, I'll tell you about an incident. I was in the Cochin airport, and I had given my bag for check-in. I got my boarding pass, and I turned around and took my cabin baggage and walked away. I was walking, and I felt that there was somebody behind me. You can get that intuition, huh? Somebody behind you. So I turned around, there was a guy behind me. He was walking behind me, and I didn't remember meeting him. So I went round the seats in the Cochin airport 3 times. This guy followed me. I went up and down 3 times. This guy followed me. I got totally irritated. I went and sat down on one particular chair. He came and sat next to me. And I asked him, yes, I got irritated. Yes. He said, if you have finished your job with my suitcase, sir, can I take it? When I turned, my hand was unemployed. I picked up his suitcase and left, because it was also blue. It was of the same weight almost. I had no cabin baggage. But I asked him, you could have asked me from there. He said, sir, I was enjoying the whole show. He was smiling and telling me. I asked him, don't you have a flight to catch? My flight is delayed by 3 hours, sir. I have to do something, no? He made me laugh for 1 hour. He made me sit there. He sat there and laughed. You know, I laughed for 1 hour and he made me laugh for 1 hour. And at the end of 1 hour, my flight was scheduled. I went away. He was one Surendra Agarwal from Lucknow. He keeps in touch with me even now. But he made my day that day. I was in the aircraft. I was smiling. Another guy sitting next to me was looking at me and saying, why is this fellow smiling? But believe me, there are happy people all around. With that sort of a note, you should trust there are happy people. You should trust that professionals should be happy people. Professionals should be those sort of people who love their country for what it is. Professionals should be happy people, that they are character-filled people. Professionals should have those 9 C's which I mentioned. But apart from that, there is this t-shirt quote which I love. I keep on giving it to everyone wherever I go. This is not mine. Quotation is of Oscar Wilde. I'll conclude with this sort of a, like say, this t-shirt quote. It says, there are 2 types of people in this world. There are 2 types of people in this world. Type 1. All of us professionals should belong to this type. It says, some people bring happiness wherever they go. Have you seen them? They come inside your room, the whole room gets lighted up. They are there and you are happy. Happiness comes just because of those people. Maybe you yourself are that type of person, or there are people in your life who make you very happy. I think that's the type of people with whom we should belong to. Never become type 2. The second type, which Oscar Wilde says, he says, some people bring happiness whenever they go. Some people they come in and when they leave, they think, oh my God, lucky they left. Now, if I continue any further, I will become type 2. Now, whatever I had said, it is there in your souvenir. I think in your kit you will have the souvenir. There is that professional excellence written there, and there are these 9 C's. And in case you need more material as far as this is concerned, I have the entire presentation slides. I didn't want to put it on because of a 1 hour, exposition. What I would like to do is, if anyone wants my presentation slides, I can send it to you if you write to me at my email ID. And those of you who want to note down, you can note down balacoach@gmail.com. 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 It's only my email ID because, coach had various other problems connected with me. Once I was mentioned in one of the programs as head coach is okay. Huh? The second one, I was the second one. I was mentioned as assistant coach. And one fellow, instead of writing assistant coach, he wrote as co-coach. And somebody who introduced me went and told that he's a cockroach. So I stopped. I only give the email ID, but I am always a trainer. It's much better to be called a trainer than a cockroach. But in any case, thank you very much for being with me in this afternoon. And I was delighted to see so many people who had come in from all parts of Eastern India. And I wish you all the very best as far as your deliberations are concerned for tomorrow. And also, let me tell you, professionalism is a part of your word, and you people are doing it extremely well. All I told is to, put it in this sort of a shell of 9 points. Thank you very much. All the very best. Thank you very much.